Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 15th, 2024 at approximately 4:15 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the philosophies I actually guide my own personal movements by. Now, I know these tools will work for you because they've worked for me and continue to do so, as well as having worked for literally thousands of other clients over the years. Now, I'm not about to tell you that my methods are the only way to do it. They are simply the way I do it. Okay. Now, we ran into a number of problems recently. Okay. We being this community. And it prompted me to do something a little different. So instead of just looking at just the alien concept, I decided, okay, this is Monday, but we might just as well start with a Monday. Why not? I mean, I could have started with a Tuesday, but I wasn't set for it. Or more to the point, was already set. With this in mind, I have decided that leaving things go the way they are, it's just going to flat out degrade. It's going to deteriorate. This is pretty much cut and dried. But before I go any further, I do want to say, Philip Blair, you are in with the goal today. And we are actually focusing on how and why to set life, business, and project policies. And I cannot read that. What we got? The nice little part about it is, the one thing I've been really striving to do here is make this a safe place for everybody, and as close to it as I could get. Unfortunately, there are many people that desire something a little different. Now, I will be going back over things. Okay. Heck, in all fairness, Philip, I don't know what day it is in Africa right now that I'm aware of. So the answer to your question is I unfortunately cannot give you an answer. I can tell you on Earth, there are, that I'm aware of, 6 different calendars right now, as in what we call 2024. There are 6 different calendars in existence. So how people coordinate things, I've got no clue. That and the fact I'm temporally challenged in the first place. But as I have mentioned multiple times, okay, if you've got a question, and this is why I didn't mind the question there, Philip. If you've got a question, even if it isn't on the same topic, okay, even if it's not the same topic, absolutely put your question into the chat room, preferably in all capitals, at least partial capitals, or that neat little wavy hand sign. This is just a way of getting my attention. Now, the reality of it is, Philip, I said I know of 6. And 15 years ago when I looked for them, that's what I found. Okay. Do I remember what all of them are at this point? Honestly, no. What I do know is that regardless of what day of the week it is, the reality is that life has to continue in a positive fashion, in an equal fashion. And this is why there are, what I'm doing is just blowing up my screen so I can actually read it. I do have a list here. Okay, and yes, this is already on disc. I didn't get a chance. Well, ended up getting a little sidetracked. You'll notice the room behind me. There are 3 laws. Okay, Nathan, I have and I will have to get this to you. This funny little thing. Let's see if I can do that right now. I don't know if I can. Let me see here before I get sidetracked. By the way, Nathan, welcome aboard. You're actually in with the silver today. There we go. Oh, what did I do? Copy that. And we go to Facebook, where I'm sure we can find Nathan. Where are we? Okay, I didn't actually send you the file, Nathan, but I have sent you I sent you a list on Messenger. Let me get that out of the way. Sent you a list on Messenger to take a look at. The reality is this: things were going sideways. Now, I would have loved to have just left it to people's maturity, but unfortunately, and pardon my being blunt, or don't, I find that there are people coming into this room now that are what I consider extremely immature, extremely problematic. Net result, I have now put some policies in place. I will be handing them off to the moderators. Okay, but I'm going to go over them with you guys as well. Now, there are 3 laws to follow. Okay, and these are the karmic laws. They're the same ones I use in my day-to-day life. Okay, those being: be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now understand, each and every one of these laws are just as important as the next one. Okay, think of it as a 3-legged stool. You absolutely, you absolutely have to have all 3 in balance. One leg on a 3-legged stool is short or is weak, the whole stool is going to collapse. Okay, this is why those laws are in place. Now, there are a couple of things. Okay. Oh, perfect. Thanks, sir, Nathan. Now, I will tell you, I will never, the way the laws are laid out right now, much as I have told you, I'm going to build an empire. I will never have a board of directors. The way the laws are set up right now, I put a board of directors in and they can fire me. Not interested. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Philip, thank you. Philip's just bringing us up to speed on the number of different calendars that he's aware of. Let's see. We've got Christian. We've got the Jewish calendar, the Muslim, the Chinese, the Mayan. There is one other one, and I don't know what it is, but there's one missing, and I do not recall. But yeah, Philip, thank you very much for looking those up. The fact that we have even that many different calendars might give you an idea why trying to figure out time on this planet is a bit of a job. Yeah, that would absolutely fit there, Philip. And I really appreciate he's just added the Egyptian calendar. I'm gonna have to slap myself in the back head to stop from stumbling, because this isn't working. But like I said, will I have a board of directors? No, because a board of directors in today's law, at least in the Western world, a board of directors can fire the owner of the company because they have rights too. Not going to happen. Okay, with this in mind, I will absolutely take on a board of advisors. Where that comes into play here, okay, the people that have been selected as moderators, okay, are absolutely the people that I'm turning to as advisors. That said, if any of you have an idea or you have a concern, absolutely get it to me. Below every one of these videos is a list of ways to contact me. LA Moon, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And LA, you are in with the bronze. Now the reality of it is this. Okay, I have one of two options. I could either continue the path I was on, or I could put boundaries in place. Okay. Now, of course, if I stayed on the path I was on, you can bet your bottom dollar I would have ended up running into a problem. Well, that I agree with, Philip. Unfortunately, I hear it all the time. Quite literally, where a board of directors goes, "Oh, we want to run the company this way. Never mind what the owner wants." Okay, and then they've got the right, so they can fire them. Not an option here. Okay, won't be an option as things get underway. This being said, a couple of things, and I will be repeating this. Storm and Shadow, how we doing? Glad you could join us. And you are in with honorable mention. To be clear, you guys, I have passed on the list to Nathan already. Okay, and obviously you two have it. So, for those of you that are listening, absolutely welcome aboard. Okay, I cannot afford to let things continue the way they were. Okay, as you've seen, there have been people coming in creating complications. So I've done the best I could to eliminate part of the problem. Couple of things that we do, and bear in mind, this list I'm reading off of is literally the same one that I've handed the moderators. Okay, and there are a couple of other moderators coming in. Okay, but couple of things to keep clear. Okay, and I'm just going to read it straight from here because it's easier, but I will be repeating this as we go along. Okay, and this is not in order of importance. These are all equally important things to consider. Number one, okay, where did we go here? Number one, you have to realize that there is not a single soul. I reorganized that. That's my problem. Where are we? This one. There. Move that out of the way so I can read it. Okay. Number one, not a single one of you, myself included, is more important than the next. You are all equally valuable. Okay. Number two, all of my statements are my opinion. Okay. This said, an opinion cannot be wrong. Okay. But we'll get to more on that in a moment. Okay. Number three, I personally do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus Christ. And no, this is not going in down a religious road. That's not where I'm from. Well, that's not 100% accurate, but I do believe in free will and freedom of choice. However, what I do not believe in is freedom from consequence. Okay, now, and this is going to set somebody off, I'm sure of it. But this is being taken straight out of a gaming context, as in Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, and role playing, tabletop role playing. In this stream, let's be clear. I'm God. If you have a question, absolutely ask. See rule number one. I'm God. I'm the one that makes the final decision. Now, the moderators have a list of rules that are imperative. Okay. Now, number 8, being booted is not the same as being banned. Okay. Now, whether you get banned or not depends entirely on your own behavior. Come on, Philip. I believe in Jimmy Swaggart. He's a real person. Okay, you got to give him credit. He is real. That's why I believe in him. Do I believe in his philosophies? No. Ninth thing to be very, very clear about is ignorance of the rules is not an excuse. Okay, it is not a defense. It may be an excuse. But I will do my best to make sure that the rules are listed and are followed. Whoa. Need eyesight. Now, that being said, now, in all fairness, I don't know. I honestly don't know who Jay Stewart is, or am I overlooking a name? Probably am. But understand, we are doing our best to make this a safe place for everybody. Okay. But this is the critical issue. Okay. Whoa. Woo Train Rider, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Robert, how you doing? Yeah, I'm glad I trust things are going well for you there, Robert. Now, something to be very clear of, people, and this is absolutely of imperative note for the moderators in the room, because they're the ones that can do something with it. Okay, there are 3 things I've got on the list right now that will result in summary eviction. Okay, in other words, there won't be any debate, there won't be any discussion of it, just you get booted for a short period. Okay, now, since I don't know the booting procedure very well, let's be honest, that makes it problematic. Oh, okay. Philip goes, I think that was autocorrect. Yep. Okay, now. Oh, that's always fun, Robert. You know, I know watching the weather system is so much more enjoyable than watching paint dry. Now, 3 things that will get you evicted immediately. Okay. 1 is stating, and I don't care if you're stating in jest. Now, I believe in God, absolutely. But you state any belief structure is better than any other one. Okay. I don't want to hear it. Everybody in this room is entitled to believe what they will, and to believe in whatever God they choose by any name. Don't care. Okay, actually, I do care. Thing about freedom of free choice, free will. People have to have the freedom to say, hey, I believe in God, or hey, I worship Satan. I don't care if you worship Satan. I care if Satan starts trying to dictate what I'm doing in my house. You know, I was told one day quite succinctly by somebody. They looked at me and they went, there's a place in hell for people like you. I looked at the guy and I says, yep, they call it the throne. He all of a sudden clammed up. Now, Nathan, I don't know where I'm going to get you a shrubbery. I do know where the reference comes from. I'm thinking crossbreeding puppies and kittens will not give you puppies. It will not give you ponies. Okay, that is one thing that will get people. If somebody says something, moderators, do me a favor. You see anybody, I don't care who they are, that says, of course, in my case, if I slip up, booting me might be a problem. But anybody trying to say their religion is better than everybody else's, let's get it straight. That's not to be discussed here at all. Number 2 is I am not about to tolerate political lobbying. Everybody's got their view on politics. Mine's pretty black and white. I appreciate that there, Nathan. And the 3rd thing that will get you dumped in one heck of a hurry is stating anyone's opinion is wrong. Watch the way you're putting things, people, because I'm not tolerating this any longer. I've seen it come up a number of times in the last couple of days where somebody's been complaining. Somebody make a comment and they'll go, no, that's wrong. Sorry, guys. The opinion cannot be wrong. Now, here's the reason, the backbone reason. You know, from my standpoint, it's simple. Had I stayed on the line I was on the path I was on, going, let's leave everything open, let's leave people to talk and intermix, okay, and deal with each other. Let's leave it alone. I can continue down that road, absolutely. But what you don't know is that just yesterday, after the show I did here, I went on Nathan's show, and things went a little screwy there. Okay, no offense to you, Nathan. Okay, but when I got off the line, I was tired, yes, but I had another neat little issue. Don't know if you noticed, but I was looking at the video afterwards. I noticed I had my hand up here a lot. What I didn't say anything about was my heart had gone off track. This is what prompted my decision that political discussions in here are not going to happen. Because if I don't change it, I end up dying. And if you think my getting upset and missing a day is going to screw up a stream, not half as bad as my up and dying. Although it will be entertaining to die and come back here and say, see, I told you that wasn't going to work. Definitely on top of that, Nathan. Actually, yesterday afterwards, I ended up taking a double dose of them. You know, just to bring things back on stable ground. You know, I didn't have a chance to talk to you because, well, my day's been screwy. In case you hadn't noticed, I've got a lot of work cut out for me tonight. But I have, you know, well, I sort of didn't have a lot of options. It was either I was going to get some backup to stabilize things, or I was going home permanently. With this in mind, okay, I am looking at getting things moving in the right direction. And where is it? I think it's this one here. Yep. I had run out of stock. So I just got a new batch of these in. No, I haven't got the second printing done yet. But the first one is, I ended up getting a restock on it. I didn't have a lot of choice. Well, I did, but yeah, Phil's going, Dale Carnegie said not to criticize, condemn, or complain. But if you must, begin in a friendly way. If you want to be heard, otherwise we'll be dismissed as jerks. Essentially, yes. Now, I'm all for people saying, look, there's something missing here, or this is something I'd like to see happen. Honestly, Nathan, I haven't been able to get to any of them. I'm still looking at that side of it. Last year was an absolute shambles where it comes to my books. Okay. I did send a batch of the Yldrbacian Chronicles out east. Never heard a word from it. So this is one of the big goals I have for this year. Okay. And this is where this stream, yes, I will talk about my books. I will absolutely look for streams to come on and absolutely, promote the books and what they're for. Okay. But my getting through the door, unfortunately, has been a fiasco. The last year, I relied way too much on other people. Very much like I relied on the idea that people would stay in an adult fashion. What I have found happen now, is unfortunately more and more people are becoming slower and slower. And I know that's going to upset somebody. At this point, way beyond my concern. I was on the horn the last night for a long time. Yes, a lot of it undoubtedly came across as venting, probably was. The reality of it is that if I don't get things straight in my own head, there's no way I can get them straight in yours. Now, am I perfect? Not a prayer. I'm barely good at being me. Okay, but what I will tell you is if I will be posting this whole list of policies on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, so that people absolutely know what they are. Okay. And since I don't know entirely how to do that, let's see if this works. I don't know if it will. Nope, didn't like that. That was too big would be the problem. Yeah, I will be as soon, and the way I'm looking at it at this point, Philip, and I appreciate the idea. After the weather warms up here, because right now we're at -10 and below, I'm not leaving the house much. Well, I could. Now, the one thing I've been trying to avoid, and absolutely, it's a community project. Because the reality is, here's a neat little kicker, and I kid you not, a word of a lie. This is already laid out in my own policy handbook. Okay, for the operation of Inner Voice Enterprises. Now, I've got to be generating an income enough that I can live. That's the first thing that happens. But everything after that level, now I can live comfortably in my house on $2,500 a month coming in. That's insurance. That's my rent, my insurance, my utilities, my food, my entertainment, all of it. Okay, I can live on 2,500 Canadian a month. With this in mind, okay, with this in mind, I am going to be taking 80% of the net profit after that first 2,500. 80% of everything else goes back out to the supporters, the contributors, the clients, the customers. Doesn't matter. It's all going back out. I am not here to become a multi-billionaire on the backs of everybody else. Okay, this is why the newsletter will be turned out. It'll remain free. What I'm not about to do is tolerate this idea, what I'm not about to do is tolerate this idea that anybody in here is going to be singled out by anybody else. This is what I'm watching for. How you doing, Joseph? Glad you could join us. Yeah, I am starting. See, I am starting to look to push the books. That's where my income's going to come from. I turned to the government. The government basically said, "Oh, you don't have a good enough plan." I'm like, "Great." And this is from the people that pass a balanced budget every time. But in this chat room, okay, I'm not going to be looking for people. I'm not going to be tolerating people walking on each other. Absolutely, there will be cross chatter, and that is still encouraged. Okay, what is not encouraged is people calling other people names, myself included, by the way. Lord knows I've been called way more names than most of you have. Some of them are even repeatable in polite company. Okay, but there's a term called Bible thumping, and the Bible thumping does not mean just the Christian religion. Okay, understand there is so much about religion people don't know. Oh, heavens, Philip, the government, quite frankly, wanted me to lay the plan out without them telling me anything. As a matter of fact, they literally told me, don't include this stuff, as in past experience. Don't include that. We don't want to, it can't be part of the plan. Right. Net result, they turned me down. Well, I'm not stopping. I'm simply doing it my way. Did I bury something? There it is. I am simply building it the way I know it works, and we'll figure it out from there. It was funny. What they told me was that what I had laid out wasn't good enough. Okay. Absolutely not. That was the big thing. That was why I turned to them in the first place, is because a decade ago they had that. Did I benefit from the work I did? Certainly. I now know exactly what I'm doing. This here is the starting point. Okay. Dropping these boundaries in place and going, okay, here's the reality behind it. In this chat room, okay, you're absolutely entitled to your own belief. That is literally encouraged. Okay, whatever you do, don't just take my word for it, except for one thing. Okay, the one thing that you can take my word for is if I go, this is no longer tolerated, and I ask the moderators, which I've just done, to toss anybody that breaks these boundaries, absolutely blame me for it. I'm doing it quite intentionally because I'm not having another heart attack for somebody else. Okay, I've had to really come to realize that, like it or not, number one, people require guidelines. If you're not told what the guidelines are, how are you supposed to possibly follow them? Okay, and this is why I say I won't deal with, now, like I said, I will not deal with political lobbying, by the way. That is whether we're talking about trying to run for office in a company, in a country. I don't care. Okay. Will I talk to people about politics? Certainly. But not here. Well, technically, they can happen a lot of things there, Philip. In my case, rest assured, I've had enough of them to know they're no fun. Philip just going, heart attacks can result in spontaneous flatulence, too. So what I've decided is, okay, let's get things off to a stable start. It's a very simple issue of this. The people in this stream, and I encourage this to apply to everybody outside of this stream. Okay, the people in this stream must be held in a position where they can feel safe. Newcomers and old timers alike, or long timers alike. Everybody is of equal value. It's that simple. Okay, I don't treat anybody I run into differently. Okay, I start off on the same boat, treating everybody the same way. Now, do not get me wrong. My tolerance has been pushed to its limit. Okay, but what I would like to see happen at this point is I'd like to see things in my life, they're going to grow. This disaster behind me, that's because I quite literally, I stumbled across in my discarding junk, I stumbled across a manuscript written by my grandmother that nobody has a copy of. Okay, so it went down. I literally put it in print. I took it down to the printer, and they were looking for a front photo for it, a photo of my grandmother. Now, I am the only one that has a copy of this thing, and right now, the only one that has the copy is at the printer. Okay, so this is what's happening is I am taking this. I originally started off going, let's get a publishing company up and running and get some of your guys' work in print. Okay, now the printer, I've got 8 books printed through, turned around, and she says, look, here's a letter of support, and I've got a list of people, of clients waiting for you to get the door open. Okay, with this in mind, I'm going to start pushing that, but the government said that wasn't good enough. It wasn't a viable business. I got news for you. I look at what a lot of people tell me isn't viable. Okay, one thing that is viable is everybody in here has the right to have a voice, to be heard. But understand, okay, that only has so much room to work. Okay, I saw a couple of things I did see happen. And I'm not going to give names for 2 reasons. One, I won't give names. 2 is a bigger problem. I don't remember who the names were. But, and I would like you guys, I would like you moderators to keep an eye on this. I saw somebody the other day in another room that literally all they did was for 5 or 6 entries, all they did was put one disconnected sigil, just simply to jam the chat room. Okay, now this is childish, very immature behavior, and it cannot be tolerated, and for that matter, won't be. Okay, and it really boils down to this. Some of you are going to go, well, the moderators are being too harsh. Well, look at the bright side. The moderators may be too harsh. I'll shut the stream. Okay, and that'll just kill that problem. Because I'm not about to have another heart attack just because of people wanting to be able to be, shall we say, a little bit dense. Oh, Philip goes, innovation used to be illegal, considered an unfair business practice. Well, that's okay. Lord knows I've been, most of what I do is probably, well, clearly it's not illegal. Point in fact. Chad Smith, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And let me see here. I require this first. No, that is not what I require first. Oh, it is so. Brain's working on hold. This is the link to Chad Smith's archives. Okay, so drop in. As a matter of fact, I missed one. My apologies. Chad, this is a link to Chad's archives. Drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, absolutely give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylight out of it. That would be really appreciated. And this is the link to Storm and Shadows. That hurt. To Storm and Shadows stream. And absolutely, again, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he's got to say, give him a thumbs up. And here's the other one this one I really like. I really do enjoy this one. Okay, nope, not that one. Where is it? Here we are, Shadow and Sun. Fantastic stream regarding gaming techniques, actual game events going on, this sort of thing. And where is Nathan? Yes, I got a whole pile of these, and like I said, if you guys do have a stream, absolutely get it to me. I'll check it out. If it fits what I'm looking at, and thus far I've yet to be disappointed. Okay, we'll get them up there. You're more than welcome there, Nathan. The fact of the matter is, I cannot, or more to the point, I will not permit things to continue down this road. Oh, nice, Nathan. The neat part about this, in my eyes, is I have come very close in the last 6 months. Absolutely. Where are we at? I still don't have that one copied. LA, if you would be kind enough to pop up her newest stream, because I've got this one only. Now, where is it? Where is Ravens? There we are. This one. Okay, thanks, LA. I appreciate it. This one is, this is the only stream that I've got listed for Raven. And again, drop in, give her a listen. If you like what she's got to say, do give her a thumbs up and then subscribe to the channel. You know, thank you so much there, Storm. I do appreciate it. You know, the reality is there's a lot of things that are not running as smoothly as I'd like. And technology and I have argued for a long time. But what I have come to the understanding of is letting things just work themselves out, because we got a lot of adults. Most of the people in this room, in this stream, most of them are, most of you are really well pulled together and work really well as a unit. Unfortunately, we're now getting in people that are looking to cause a problem. And it's those problem children that, well, I'm not interested in any problem children, in all fairness. You know, the reality of it is that we have to put boundaries in place, or people don't know where they are. Now, this is why, whether we are talking in your life, in business, in a project, get a list of boundaries in place. What are your goals? What are the things you're aiming for? Okay, I'm looking here for a place where people can find support when they're having struggles. Okay, I'm not looking for a place that can be, I won't permit it to become any more down the road of being problematic. And I know some, because I've already seen it happen. Some people will go, oh, the moderator's being too fast. They're firing out innocent people. That may happen. Okay. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, because it might. This said, okay, as people get used to the idea that this is not going to happen anymore, it'll ease off a little. Primarily because people will grow up. Now, there are those of you in the room that know how close I was to actually shutting this whole stream down. Only just yesterday. Just yesterday, I nearly pulled the plug and didn't come back on at all tonight. Okay, but this is why I said I did get things calmed down a little. And now I'm looking at it and going, okay, yes, I can fold it up. Problem is, society is going to tank if we don't do something. Now, I got told there's a whole lot of people working in the background. Well, to me, this is like trying to drive the car from the back seat. Unless you got extremely long arms, it's not going to work. Okay. So what I'm looking at is this. I've got to find a way, and this is why I'm going to be going more onto the social media than I have been, to strive to get this message out that we can make this work. But we cannot do it, and it will not happen if we continue letting people come in that just want to cause a problem. Okay, and I have run into those people. I've got no interest in people like that. Well, actually, I do, but shingling comes in handy, but it depends on how thin you slice them as to how many shingles you'll get. But the important thing we have to look at is this. we have a phenomenally strong creative group here. Okay. And, this is why I put this list together. It will I will be posting this again. Okay. Watch, like this list that the moderators already have will be posted on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Those are the only 3 venues I'm on at this point. Okay, but I will be upgrading or adding to, fleshing out my different profiles. Absolutely. I will also be looking for different venues via which to actually promote my own books. Absolutely, LA. I just haven't had the time. Got a little sidetracked today. That is one of the first places it's got to go. Is into the, like that whole list that I've just sent you guys will be put into the description of the chat room, or into the description of this program, so that when people come in, they have no viable reason to go, I didn't know. What do we got here? Gotta minimize that so I can actually see. Yeah, absolutely they do there. They absolutely do, Nathan. People do not understand how much work it takes. They also, the other thing that many people don't get, and I talked to somebody just today that we were talking about, are you looking for a job or a business? The person turned around and looked at me and goes, the business is too much for me. So I'm just going to find somebody to work for. Yeah, absolutely. Phil's just asking, do any of your books have footnotes? In all fairness, not a whole lot. Mind you, because I've got 8 different books, as a matter of fact, where is the one that I'm looking for here? This. This website will give you a short description of each of the books. Okay, every single one of them can be ordered directly through me at any one of the links below here. Okay, and this is the email address to get a hold of me. Okay, this particular address will get you to me. It is also the one that is used to get to PayPal. But, especially when you consider this regarding footnotes. Where is it? Why do I keep doing that? It's over there. Okay, this particular book I'm already putting a workshop together for. As you can see, not exactly big. Not much point in in footnotes with a book that has, I think, 22 pages. Yep. This book has 22 pages, kind of like the 22 minutes, but okay. Where are we here? Let's minimize this. Oh yeah. Well, that's the funny thing there. A lot of the time, what's this? Nathan goes, Nathan goes, I saw a video recently where NASA is getting a lot of old cars in their parking lot. Person had the idea to get and got them for the lack of computers on board. Yeah. Nathan goes, I think they were just having a car show. And that wouldn't be a shock. You know, the important thing we have to realize is I am absolutely certain that if we choose to start working together, the way society is going, we can turn it around. We don't have to wait for the government, the so-called elites, the corporate leaders. We don't have to wait for them. You really don't. Okay. It really boils down, you know, it really boils down to this. If we desire this world to change, we have to start implementing the changes. For me to get this stream to grow properly with your guys' help, if I didn't put boundaries in place, and I should have done it 2 years ago, in all honesty, but I should have had the laws down before, And like I said, you must follow the laws the laws of the land in which you are. The fact of the matter is this. In this room, like I expect people to follow the boundaries in their chat rooms if I'm in them. Therefore, I expect the same thing here. If I go to somebody else's chat room, I absolutely will follow their laws or their rules. The thing I'm not able to do anymore is sit back and go, I'm just going to let people work it out. People don't seem to have that much drive. Thank you very much there, LA. I do appreciate that. The reality of it is, I did what I could to leave it as is, but it's like driving from the back seat. Let people grow up. The reality is, I hid for 55 years, hoping people were going to grow up. Apparently, that did not happen for everybody. Okay, it would have been nice, but it wasn't the way it worked out. One of the nice things about a letter opener, I cannot reach my back with my hand, so therefore this works. But I did what I could. From here on out, it really boils down to this. It is now time to start growing things and start making them happen. Now, this series, this Believe in Your series, okay, every one of these, I've got 3 of them right now, and each one is only $20, and that's $20 Canadian in your hand anywhere in Canada or the continental US. For those of you that are in a different part of the world, I will tell you that I have figured out a way to actually mobilize these where they can be brought in. If I've got somebody that's looking to move them outside of the country, I got no problem saying that in motion. The fact of the matter is that I've got to look at the reality of it. The reality is very simple. Now, right now, I'm about to put a 9th book in print. That one is not going up for sale. It is strictly a family history, and it is going to the different members of my bloodline, period. Okay, but it's a document that it turns out I've got the only copy of. So, like I said, and if you're just joining me, absolutely welcome aboard. Okay, I am now installing different policies, different rules to follow. And the big thing, let's see if I can do this, because maybe I can pop this in properly. Actually, most of you aren't in the chat room, I presume, anyway. But if, number one, trying to tell anybody in here that your spiritual path, your religion, your belief is the only one that's right, or that yours is better than somebody else's, we will simply have you evicted. Okay, it's no longer tolerated. Oh, nice, Robert. Yeah, it would be an idea to pay bills. I know if I don't pay my bills, they do this stupid thing. And, it's not stupid. I don't pay my bills, they cut me off. That's not really fun. But telling people that your belief structure is better than anybody else's will end up with you evicted. Okay. Now I gotta ask, because I can't quite read that. Joseph, at this point, I am such a small. I tried actually getting a company in the States to set things up for me for the States. I got shafted and locked out of the access. Okay. So at this point, I'm really fighting uphill on that one. But with that in mind, I gotta ask, Nathan, you've got a link in there. And I gotta ask what that is. Oh, okay. That's what that is. Oh, okay. Thanks, Nathan. You know, the neat little part about it is I tried a very naive method. Let people communicate. They will get the idea from the other people, because the massive majority of people in this stream are really supportive, really decent people. My basic idea was people will look at this and they will listen and they will think and they will follow suit. This is not what happened. Okay. Now I'm absolutely certain, although I'm not able to prove it, I am absolutely certain what caused the blowout here. Okay. And this is why I'm counting on the moderators and the people working behind the scenes to eliminate problems. Oh, what have we got here? I didn't even see the reference. Philip's asking, what's 9gag? Now, I don't personally know, so I certainly can't give you an answer. Okay, understand technology is not my strong suit. It's barely even an acquaintance. But what I will tell you is, much as I will not be tangling with religion on air, nor will I tangle with politics. Okay, there are things that I will tangle with in the newsletter that I won't on air. You know, and that's just the reality of it. Because if we continue going down the road that is laid out before us, okay, if we keep treating each other in this kind of a destructive fashion, we are going to end up in a very simple end. And does the Roman Empire ring a bell? Okay, and this is what I'm not interested in being part of. Okay, from my standpoint, it really boils down to this. There are a lot of good people here. There's a lot of things that can be done. And tomorrow is Tuesday. We will get back on track to the gaming talk on Tuesdays. Let me just take a look at this. This can go back where it belongs. The reality of it from my stand is pretty cut and dried. We have to keep things moving in a positive fashion. The reality is I figured it out. And I kid you not, I figured out a way. Think of this, and this is what's going on with Inner Voice Enterprises itself. Okay, I figured out how to track and actually pay for word of mouth advertising. Okay, but I don't do it ahead of time anymore. I do it based on volume. In other words, if something sells, credit goes where it needs to. Now, I've already got the algorithm worked out. It's not something I have to work out. It's something that's already in place. Okay, it's not a great system. It's not a way of getting rich quick. Okay, but like I said, I know what it costs to run what I'm doing. I know what that's going to cost. I know how much of a complication um well, here for those of you that are considering this, and I really do appreciate it. Okay, the whole catch to it is this. Okay, I can handle the distribution. I can handle shipping stuff to people. That's the easy part. It's finding them and getting things organized. You know, but it really is going to be a growing issue of making things happen, because I either start generating an income or I'm pretty much hooped. But what I cannot afford is watching people tear each other apart. And like, there was a chap in here the other day, and there is only one term for people like this. Okay, and that is a bully. Now, I grew up under bullies. Okay, and I'm not about to tolerate them in here. Does this mean I expect everybody to be absolutely perfect? Not a prayer. Understand, I met a lot of different races, a lot of different species. No, you don't have to believe this. Okay, you really don't. But I will tell you, do your own research. Okay, the one thing I have discovered is the way that they usually keep control over things is do it my way or I kill you. You behave or I kill you. And, this is just not a good way of doing things. Communication has always been the key to peace, not gunfire. Gunfire has never brought peace. Okay, now I will grant you this: bombs have absolutely brought quiet. But let me ask you, which is going to make it easier for you to accomplish your own goals? Okay, and let's see a show of hands. Good luck with that. Who's got a program, a goal in mind that you'd like to bring to fruition, that you would like to have turn around and actually see the end result of? Because that's what we're looking for. That is what we are aiming at, taking this channel and this stream and making happen. Okay, societal changes, personal changes, business and business evolution. These are all things, and personal evolution, of course. These are all things that can be accommodated. Now, I do not expect people to look up at me and go, "Oh, he's so smart, he's so wise." I'm really not. Okay. Pig-headed, stubborn, a little opinionated, probably. Okay. Could I hit the broadside of a barn with a baseball bat if I get close enough? But what I am looking at is very simple. Right now, we have what? 583 subscribers in here. We've got 583, which, if we take a look at that from mice, from the view of mice, you see a mouse in the house. According to pest control, the various peoples I've talked to, that means you've got 6 hiding. If we take that ratio, we got 583 that are listed as subscribers. This means we could be seeing right now at literally a very paltry, and it's not the smallest, 3,000 that are watching. Okay, I don't know what the entire volume is looking like. Don't even know how to figure it out. What I do know is I still believe that the people on this planet can work together, can make this a better world. But I cannot let things happen, or more to the point, I will not let things continue down the road they're on. Okay. And absolutely, guys, if you see somebody that you feel is causing a problem or maybe a problem, talk to myself or one of the moderators and let them know. Okay, I will be going through things with the moderators to ensure that at least in this chat room, things do run as smoothly as I can get away with. The reality of it is this: society is in a bad way right now, but there is so much potential for it to turn around and be running in a real positive fashion that it's time we start doing something. And that's not going to happen by sitting on the back seat. I know that things are going to change. Yeah, it really has. Yeah, and I appreciate the confirmation on that, LA. We were for a little while there getting upwards of 15, 20 people. What happened? Probably I lost focus. Okay. And this is why, let me just grab my paper here. This is why, let's see, we have, take the glasses off, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, on Sundays, we are going to leave it open. Now, do understand, every one of the days, the rules that I've been talking about are still going to apply. Honestly, Philip, no. Right now, everything is in English. I spent literally the last 5 years sinking thousands into companies that told me they would help. Okay. And virtually without exception, I've got nothing but shafted. Nathan, that would be absolutely brilliant. And that would be absolutely appreciated. I've got more information coming out. But that's one of those funny little endeavors that absolutely we can work something out, because there is no way I can speak Klingon. I'm lucky if I can speak Stumbleese. But would I like to get them translated into other books? Absolutely. Now, the neat part about it, from that end, Race of the Worlds is one of the. It was kind of an impromptu thing, but it works out as an addendum to the Yldrbacian Chronicles. The thing is, people around the world, okay, behave the same way. They've got different rules and what have you they work with. Okay. I'm sure we can find somebody that speaks Klingon, but because they do exist. But Sundays we are going to run open topic. On Mondays, effective this coming Monday, we will be turning things back and going over the different races and that sort of thing. Well, oh, okay. Well, there's a piece of information I didn't have. So we are going to, on Mondays from here on out, we are going to be looking at various different races, social interactions, but we're going to concentrate on one race at a time. Now, understand, with that in mind, book 1 has 59 races in it. Okay, this means I've got a year over the next, I've got a year of weeks, more than a year, in just the first book. Okay, so we are going to look at that. That is where the focus is going to be. Okay, that is where we are going to concentrate things. On Tuesday, we are going to look at the gaming world. Okay, as in Dungeons and Dragons, Star Frontiers, what is it now? Well, Traveler was an old one. And then you've got Warhammer 2000, this sort of thing. Now, many of these games I don't actually play. Okay. Yeah, I haven't, like I said, Philip, I haven't translated them yet. That is on the agenda for things to do. On Wednesdays, we're going to start looking at societal issues themselves. But I am not tangling with politics or religion, or the medical for that matter. I'm referring to gross overstress, the superstructure of society, and what we can do to bring it into balance. Okay, Thursdays, needless to say, I'm not going to be here anyway. On Fridays, we're going to deal with the paranormal, but we're going to deal with the paranormal in terms of the different tools that we can use and the way of looking at it or working with it. Okay, understand, I am not the authority on any of these things. I am barely an authority on me. Okay, and then on Saturday, we are going to look at the individual self-help techniques, whereby you can take your own projects, you can figure out your own goals, and we can start breaking down how to make them happen. But am I going to, in any of this, tolerate people stepping in and trying to bully other people? Absolutely not. Okay. And of course, somebody's going to come up with the idea that, oh, you're laying the moderators run roughshod. That is not the way I operate, but I did not put the moderators in place, so I had to handhold them. Okay. Sorry, the only person I'm holding the hand of, that I'm going to hold the hand of when I get the opportunity. Yeah. In all fairness, LA, I don't know how like right now. If somebody's got a better time that they think would work better, absolutely. I'm quite open to change at this point because I've come to the conclusion that my schedule can be changed. However, Thursdays I'm still not gaming. But is there a consensus or a suggestion as to a time that would be more viable that doesn't come into direct conflict with everybody? Where are we here? Oh, there you go. Well, this is a good thing, Nathan. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, having an income is kind of necessary. But yeah, I am open to saying things up at a different time. Okay. The one thing I don't desire to do is run into conflict. Okay. But if LA, if you've got an idea. What do we got? Yeah. Yeah, Nathan goes, if my car can make it through, I'm going. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. One thing I will tell you, because I am developing courses, I will be finding a time to put those in place. Okay. And those, in all likelihood, well, I'll have to figure out what day. But let me ask you this. Okay. If there is. Well, that's not a bad idea there, Christine. At least those are healthy. I actually picked up a bunch of snap peas to snack on later. the reality of it is this. If you guys have a topic or a course that you would like laid out, I've got a number of them I'm working on. Okay, especially with the self-help books. Now, I've still got to work out the pricing for them, what have you. But am I going to set them up? The answer is yes. Yeah. From what I understand, like we don't have a Jack in the Box up here as far as I'm aware. But from what I understand, they make a pretty good taco. I know Kentucky up here, well, and I'm not saying the chain, I mean the specific outlet. Their quality has completely tanked. Now on the plus side, when I've got the money, will I actually invest in somebody's restaurant? When I've got the money, the answer is yes. Will you ever catch me cooking in a restaurant again? Done that, been there, done that, not going to do it again. Yeah, it really is. Having drive-through breakfast all day is absolutely a rarity. I'm a firm believer that breakfast is whatever hits the table. The first meal that hits the table. But I am looking at finding ways to make this stream more enjoyable, more drawing, if you will, so that it will grow. I like the last thing I ever wanted to do was sit on top of a pedestal. And Lord knows I'm very good at derailing the pedestal. I almost closed the doors altogether because I just couldn't tolerate the volume of it anymore, or couldn't tolerate the problem. But with this in mind, okay, I am working on ads already. I am working on offers and ads and what have you for the various books, the various different, the consulting, the whole 9 yards of it, because it's time to push things and make them happen. One thing I really desire to see happen through here is going to be watching people, like helping people realize their own dreams. And that's just one of the things that I've got to take a look at. Okay, because right now, like we've got 8 in the chat room right now, and a couple of weeks back, before things really started to go sour, and they really tanked the moment we ended up with a problem child in here, as far as numbers in the chat room go. This said, okay, in your guys' opinion, what would actually make it more enjoyable or more enticing? Understand, I'm not going to be sitting down playing video games. Okay, I don't play them on my own time. I'm certainly not going to stream them. Nor am I going to sit down and tell people that my way is the only way to do it and we're all going to die. I will clear that up. Every single one of you is going to die at some point. Every one of us will die. Some of our cases, we do it more often. Well, I will tell you, Christine, I really do appreciate you showing up. And yes, I do notice when you actually aren't here. The thing is, there are a lot of problems in this world that I'm aware of. And the whole catch, the whole catch to it from my end is that we've got to focus on the things going good. Now, Nathan's just going, I make shorts from videos, bit size, so to speak. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to, because I no longer have a program here. You know, I no longer have a program on my computer that I can pre-record with. Okay, which is why I end up going live. I haven't figured out how to get it because the shorts they talk about are, only put them on for a minute. Well, I've yet to figure out how to do and how to talk for only a minute, which is a problem in and of itself. But these are definitely things to focus on, to look at. And like I said, from here on out, I am going to do what I can to evolve things. Am I good at it? That's for somebody else to decide. Okay. From my end, it's very simple. I'm good at one thing in my eyes, putting my foot in my mouth all the way up to the hip. I can do that without even blinking. But I appreciate that, LA. There's a lot of things that really, and I know that people seem to have in today's world, it does seem many people have the attention span of a gnat. Okay. And I'm not picking on the gnats, but let's face it, they travel hither and yon, constantly changing direction. Partially, I think that's because of the wind currents. But is there going to be a growth curve over the next year in my eyes? Yeah, because I've come to the conclusion that I have one of two options. Either learn or don't. We used to teach people to swim when I ran the dragon ship. We used to teach people to swim by throwing a net out. Well, more to the point, throwing a fishing net out. We threw a net out one day. That didn't work well. We pulled her back in. She was some ticked. But no, we toss a net out, in between the ends of the ship, and then throw people overboard. Okay, and they would either learn to swim or they would sink. Well, this is sort of the situation I've been tossed into. Now, I am working to put my feet on the ground. Much bigger concern for me is making certain I stabilize my heart. Okay, because I tell you, it keeps fluttering offline. Sooner or later, it's going to buckle completely. This is why I say, when I said I had to lay boundaries down, I've got to lay boundaries down, not just for the people here, but for myself as well. The fact of the matter is, if I don't get things straight in my own head, getting them straight for anybody else to understand is going to be a problem. Now, this became blatantly obvious the day I tried to explain the OTE drive to another person. The first time I did it, it required about 2 hours to get it through. Now I can explain the OTE drive in under 5 minutes if you've got a basic grade 8 education. Okay, basic grade 8. If you don't have a basic grade 8, we might have a problem. But am I looking at expanding things? You bet. Okay. Am I looking at having things a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more polished? Absolutely. And the only way I can do that is to eliminate the people that are creating a problem. As in the individual that was in here the other day and was answering under other people's names. This is where the problem comes in. And much as I've got people working on it right now, I know full well that I'm going to have to figure out how to do it myself, because sooner or later, somebody other than me is going to end up dying. Okay. Now, if I die, I don't have to worry about any of this. Okay. But if the people I've got in support positions end up dying on me, that becomes a problem that's got to be sorted out. Okay. As one I'm already aware of. This is why with the newsletter. I'll be tying it off tonight so it can go out. Well, it'll go out in 2 days. Okay. But I'll be tying off the changes so they can go out on time. And again, it is going out free. Oh, that's the neat part. Yeah, like I was doing my best. Oh, yeah. And fortunately, LA, I do not sense you dying anytime soon. Don't know if that's good news for you or bad. You get to figure that one out. What I do know is I do have, thanks to Frank, I now have 40, well, I've actually got 44 videos that have never been seen on this channel that I will be posting from time to time over the next little while. Yeah. Kelly goes, I'm doing my best. They keep throwing me back. This is why I tell people, God doesn't want me and Satan's afraid I'll take over. But I've got 44 videos that have never been seen on this channel that will be posted from time to time. Now, I'm betting about 35 of them I'll be able to repost because some are date specific. Okay, but with that in mind, if I've got 35, that means I've got either 35 weeks, aka, what are we? But just shy of 9 months. Okay, or I've got, if I go every 2 weeks, we're looking at just shy of 18 months. About 17 and a half. Plus the work I'm going to be doing to enhance my own side of it. What I'm not going to be working on is the idea of tolerating stupidity and tolerating bullying inside this stream. Okay, I mean, heck, I don't tolerate outside the stream. In addition to that, I am going to be actively seeking out places to talk about the books that I've written in order to start driving those sales up. Do I still do consulting work? Absolutely. Okay. And I've been doing that since I was 10. So there's a fair chunk that I actually do work with. But it really is time to get focused on things. That's an excellent idea there, Ellie. Ellie's just suggesting that if I have an appointment or I'm not feeling well, pop one of those videos in place. And that's an excellent idea. I've got to go through them, and because most of them I can just look at the channel, at the title, and go, this is what it is. But that will certainly keep it up and running. As long as I keep on top of things with my health, I should be able to bypass a lot of the problem. Still working on getting a program in place that I can actually record with. But I will be taking that work well. I will be taking to the social media a lot more. Okay. I certainly, when I'm done tonight, won't be going on social media, primarily because of one little detail. Yeah, well, this is, and Christine, I'm absolutely with you on that. This is why I talk about the list that I work with. Mine, I don't do it one day to the next. What I do is by the end of the day, whatever's still left on the list gets moved over to the next day. Much the same way you're doing it. And they work. Okay. The other thing I discovered was I've been putting some articles into the newsletters that are going to end up being expanded on and put into booklets, because I'm running series off the newsletters as well for exactly the same reason. The information is required. In my eyes, people require it. Okay. And I am by no means of the caliber of making this happen that Steve Jobs proved to be. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Storm. I do appreciate it. Somehow I don't think somebody's going to be dumb enough to try and replicate your ID. Because I can just picture how well that's going to go over. Although it would be comical to watch. The fact of the matter is, I've got to come out. Like I said, I was going to hit. The idea was to hit 2024 with Mario on a dead run. I was not planning on hitting 2020 and 2024 at a dead run and running right smack into the wall. I was not planning on somebody clotheslining me. Not what I had in mind. At this point, it's a case of, okay, now that I'm getting my footing, and in all fairness, because of the support that I've been getting, that I've gotten from the people in this chat room, and those of you that have really been behind it, and I'm going to put it to you very simply. Okay. I'm going to put it to you really simply. Okay. I don't tell people exactly who is right behind me because that's for them to say. The reality of it is this. If it weren't for the support that I've gotten from the people from this chat room, I was one step shy again of closing the doors. Because the fact of the matter is, I've been in chat rooms and listened, and I've watched what people are doing, and I'm a specialist, and they know, and they sit there and they will tell people, I know what I'm talking about. The moment they get asked a question, it's like, I've got the answer, so buy my book. How about this? I've got answers to just about every question people ask. Okay, as long as it doesn't refer to, as long as it doesn't refer to, well, who is this person? What are they up to? I'm not doing that. I don't do the gossip thing. I do what I'm seeing, what I think. Okay, but anything I've written a book on, absolutely, if somebody desires to ask a question, I'll give you the answer that's in the book. I will tell you the book contains it as well. Okay, but I'm not going to sit here and say, look, I've got all these answers and you got to buy my book to get them. No, you don't. You got to be polite and ask. Okay, and absolutely, I'm a little dense. Earthquake, no. Yeah, Nathan goes, right, personal experience. I do a lot of that. Yeah, and that's the thing. I look at it going, I speak because that's what I've gone through. Not because it's the only thing to go through. Not because it's better than or worse than anybody else. But because it's what I have been through. Okay? And if I can save somebody a whole lot of hassles just by that. Yeah, but Nathan, you're one of the few people that figured that out. Nathan's just going, I figure I can't talk about what I don't know. There is a staggering number of people that do. But this is one of the reasons I dropped you in as a moderator there, Nathan, is because of the fact I know that I sent you the list. You'll look at that and go, okay, this is the way it is. If I've got a question, I'll ask. If not, then I don't have to ask and I can do it. The reality is that we have to take a look at this world. And if we're going to make it change, we cannot afford, we as a society cannot afford to wait for the so-called elites, the government, the corporate heads, and when I talk about government, I don't just mean the the Republicans or Democrats or the liberals or the conservatives. I'm talking about anything that has control over anywhere or thinks they do. Okay, we cannot afford to wait for them to figure it out because most of them have no clue what functioning in the real world works like. Yeah, that goes right hand in LA's going. My dad used to say, those of you that think you know it all annoy those of us that do. That's like the one that I grew up with. You know, I grew up with one that went, those of you telling me that it can't be done, would you mind getting out of the way while I do it? Okay. There's only one problem I can see with you going into politics, Nathan. I don't know if you lie well enough. So many people go into politics. So many people go into politics with great ideas. Okay. What I found out talking to a person that was an independent running for president is there is a book that is that thick, okay, that they have to read through in order to keep continuity in place. Problem: the book was written 200 years ago. Okay, and half the people in today's world can't read. I'm dang certain of it. I mean, they look at the words, but do they understand it? I really question that. I know I keep looking at it going, I swear I don't speak English anymore. And, realistically, I do swear. But it really is time at this point to put boundaries in place. Yes, you absolutely can be. And, the reality is that when I look at that, being a political consultant, you don't have to lie. You really don't. I'm a firm believer I'm not about to lie to people just to make them feel better. Unless I'm directly asked. I got told one day by a very well-placed businessman that I needed to get a suit and tie in order to talk to business people. And my immediate reaction to the guy was, if they're that interested in my outfit, they're really not interested in what I've got to say. And for me, like I got told by a member of a church one day, he goes, I would have invited you to church, to our temple, if you had been dressed better. I looked at him and I said, the day God tells me I'm dressing poorly, I'll worry about it. The day that I start paying attention to some human telling me I'm dressing poorly, I'll go and check myself into the local nut house and find out what went off rail. Oh, you'd be amazed how many times I've said that there, Philip. You don't want the answer. Oh, I really want the answer. I really want the answer. And it's like, okay. As a matter of fact, I did that one day, and a guy told me he really wanted the answer on what I would do. I said, you do realize if you do what I did, you will get fired before the echo dies. Okay, he kept pushing, so I told him. He got fired. The reality of it is, from my standpoint, I just come to the conclusion that if I go, it's not going to happen. We had somebody in here a couple of months back that really wanted some information, quite literally about my other half. And I told everybody, until I get go ahead, you're not getting a thing. Okay, you're just not getting a thing until I get go ahead from her. And this guy kept pushing. I said, not going to happen. Well, I haven't seen him back in the room since. And in all fairness, I don't recall what his name was. But this is also why I won't tell people who I'm actually in contact with as far as off screen goes. Okay, those people, it's up to them. If they want to say it, I'm not about, I won't deny it if I'm in contact with somebody. If they tell me, if they say it. Okay, if people ask me, are you talking to so-and-so? Are you swinging a deal with so-and-so? Not a prayer. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. LA saying it's information mining. Beware of it. I've listened to psychic readers that will ask dozens of questions before they say a word. And that's what they're doing, is they're looking for information. The one question I usually ask people is, does this make sense? Yeah, Philip, that's actually not a bad idea. Phil's just saying, Nathan, run for mayor first, see how it suits you. I actually was on the board of directors for a local park. That's where I found out that politics and I really don't get along well. And unfortunately, a lot of that is because I've got a mouth. I've got a mouth and very little filter. But this is where the moderators in here come in real convenient. Because this way I can just go, here's the rules, and be done with it. Now, with that in mind, nope, not that. There. Let's do this way. These are very simple rules that absolutely are going to stay in place. Yeah, Nathan goes, imagine me making rules for other people. It rubs me the wrong way. Those are the three laws that I live by. Okay. Now these ones, and the moderators all have these. Okay. These are the laws that are very literally, these are just non-negotiable. Those laws in particular right there, okay, will simply get somebody evicted right off the bat. There won't be a debate. And like I said, we are talking about kicked out. I'm not talking about being banned. Okay, if people learn, then we don't have a problem. But this way, I don't have to worry about it. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, don't know. Is it the way I feel? Absolutely. But the important factor here is this is designed so that everybody is treated exactly the same way. Okay. And I cannot say thank you enough to the people that have really stepped forward to support me. We had somebody come in, and I forget who it was. So whoever it was, my apologies. Okay. But somebody came in out of nowhere yesterday after I made the comment of I didn't know whether or not I was actually making any headway. And this one individual pipes up and he goes, you're helping more than you can know. And it's that sort of thing that keeps me looking at this going, I've got to continue, if for no other reason than the few people that we are helping. Now, hopefully those summary eviction notices make sense to people and they're understandable. I just have come to the conclusion that there are ways. I got actually, there was one room that I used to go into regularly. I was going into one room regularly, and unfortunately, what happened was it got so much into the political side, I couldn't cope with it. I do agree with you, Nathan. The problem that I was running into is helping one person is a fantastic thing, unless it kills me in the process, at which point it's kind of a hiccup. And since I did give my word to my eldest son just 2 days ago that I would do everything I could to avoid having another fatal heart attack, I figure I owe it to him, if not to myself, not to up and die on him. So I am going to continue pushing this. I am going to get a little bit more direct. Well, it will put a kink in the whole idea of reaching out to me and to touch people. Although, if you think about it, if I up and die and then come back on the air, it may be a showstopper. For me, it's real simple. I desire everybody that comes in here to feel welcome and feel safe. Okay. And if that means throwing somebody out that's a problem child, yeah, he's not going to feel welcome. Absolutely not. But I'm telling people right up front, you do this, you're being thrown out. I tried when I was actually at a concert one day. Quite by accident, I was walking in front of a stage. They were playing death metal. I took it to a whole new level and had a heart attack. It was great. Absolute showstopper. But I'm thinking this is a little overkill where it comes to just getting into the music. But if you've got ideas, if you've got topics, if you've got a course or a program that you would like to learn, absolutely, especially where we are looking at the metaphysical field, absolutely, drop me a line. I'll see if I've got something in the works. I've got a number of programs I'm already building that I will be teaching online. Okay. And all of it falls under the same rules of the road that I've got. I'm pretty simple. Uh-oh. Yeah. He goes, watch closely, folks. I can only do this once. It's funny. Between myself, both my mom and my dad and my two eldest brothers, before my second eldest brother died back in 2010, between the five of us, we had literally had 27 fatal heart attacks. Okay, that was only between five of us. I'm the only one still standing. And I intend on keeping it that way for a bit. But will I be laying out different options on courses I'm working on currently or books I'm working on currently? Absolutely. Tonight, when I get done this stream, which is shortly, I will be clearing my bed off behind me because that's all a bunch of photos that came from up on the shelf here. I had to find a very important photo. So I needed to find it in a hurry to get it done. And the one I ended up using is not a great one, but it was necessary. But like I said, the book that I put in that I set in to get printed now is not going on the market. Okay. It is simply a family thing to be handed out at Christmas. I do, on the other hand, have a number of other books I'm working on, books and or booklets. The one thing I do know I've got to deal with, and I've got to do it this week, is get in touch with Copyright Canada and make sure I get everything moving in the right direction. One of the big things that I am going to ask you, though, is if you've got a question, if you've got an idea of a topic or something that would actually draw people to this channel to help us grow it, it would absolutely be appreciated if you would drop me a line and let me know. put your ideas into the comments. I am going to be going through them quite literally from here on out on a day-to-day basis. Okay, the idea is to take the concepts that people come up with, and if they are viable in my parameters, put them to use. Okay, because it's time to change the way things are moving. It is time for all of us to decide, okay, where do you see your life? Not where do you see it in a year? Where do you see your life right now? Are you content with it? If you're content with it, this is fantastic. If not, let's hear what you've got to say and let's find a way to take the blocks out of the picture. Okay? Because I'm a firm believer, every one of you deserves success. But said success has to come on the heels of personal effort. That I can absolutely do. LA's just saying put your book title on the title and talk about the books a little bit and how to get them. That I can do very easily. And that's actually a really good idea. When I'm looking at that, let me see here. I just dropped this in. See, there's two spots. Well, there's just about any number of spots. But I've got a lot. I mean, that is actually an excellent way to start moving things. And, yes, it does mean that I will be, popping in there going, here's the tools that I can work with. I'm doing that with the newsletter as it is. But that is we'll try English on that one, shall we? That's an excellent idea there, LA. The reality of it is that, I look at that. The one hiccup in that is what YouTube will do if I start doing something like that. Okay. But can I do that on Facebook, on the postings for Facebook and what have you? Certainly. And there are things that can be done, but a lot of people are going different directions. There's one that I actually took the story. No, it's not in there yet. Thank you very much. But I've got a number of paranormal stories, some of which are being actually added to the Yldrbac Chronicles of different things that have taken place, different events. But especially on this spot there, Philip, one thing we have to realize, when I'm talking about the stories I'm looking at, they are not based on a pile of research that I've done looking into where it came from. It's like very much like the idea of where did Halloween come from. I can tell you what I think of it. I can tell you the way I look at it. But, I would be much more inclined to turn around and turn it over to people that actually know the history behind it. Somebody did a stream where the first hour they would literally read out of a book of theirs and carry on. The second hour would be open for other topics. And that may well be a better shift. Whether it's first hour, first 15 minutes, whatever. That can be relatively easily done. And I'm just making notes here, guys, hence this thing. Honestly, Philip, I'm going to have to defer to one other person in the room that can tell you way more than that. My understanding is that it had more to do with the metaphysical world than you might think. But I don't think it had anything to do with the seasons, personally. However, I am not the researcher that we can look at there. You know, but yeah, I mean these are both LA and Nathan. Both of those are excellent directions to go. Okay, and Philip, yes, the paranormal stories. There are all sorts of things I've seen in the paranormal world that are absolutely bizarre. Many of them I've documented. Okay, have I researched them? Do I have a whole array of technical background? Not a prayer. Okay, I figure if my phone keeps working, I'm doing good. But no, this said, with this in mind, I'm figuring, what are we? Tomorrow we are starting with gaming. This can be implemented extremely quick. Well, you know, Philip, if they keep going the way they are, you're going to have Halloween for the other 6 months of the year. They're already starting to advertise. They're starting to advertise Christmas. Well, they've been doing it for years, advertising Christmas in July. Sooner or later, they're going to start advertising Halloween in March. Now, personally, I prefer a shorter version of the day. Of course, I'm a firm believer that where it comes to a white Christmas, I like the idea of white Christmas. So I know we require snow. So here's the thing. I am personally in favor of snow showing up on Christmas Eve, staying all day Christmas Day, and then somewhere between Christmas Day night and Boxing Day morning going away. However, get 8 feet of fresh powder up in the ski hills, up on the water tanks. Absolutely get it all up there out of, where we require it. Okay, we don't require it down in the middle of the road. People can't drive down here in the first place. But yeah, I can safely say that entangling with with the books, with the past lives, Raven, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And Raven, I'm going to have to get a list to you. I've got to have. Oh, there we are. I've got to have. What are you doing? Oh. That is something. Well, that of course tells me what I got to do here. Well, that definitely answered there. Oh, nice, Philip. Yeah, Philip's just saying a friend in Hungary told me about a Halloween-like holiday they have in late winter, early spring. They have costume parades with scary masks, sweet treats, games for kids, and community dances. But with all of this in mind, okay, and I can safely say, with the ideas you guys have given me, we can absolutely start that quite literally effective tomorrow. Exactly what the starting topic will be, I don't know, but it's a great way to start the door to start things off, and I will get it posted. This said, we are hitting the 2-hour mark. Where are we here? Do this. We're hitting the 2-hour mark here. And I do have to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. And definitely thank you to all of the moderators for stepping up and giving me a hand to make this place a safe environment for everybody. Thank you so much. And I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.